So. Great. Good, I'm glad it is. Um, We have the applicants represented here. We'll have them explain what they're doing, going to do, hope to do. And we'll start off with 22018, which is Patrick Hendy and the hatch block.
All right.
You want to come up, Pat?
Sure.
Easier for the video, that's all.
All right.
Either chair, whichever one you want.
Chair or whatever.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I'll share this out.
Okay. So my proposals for a deck for seating outside. And there'll be access through an existing window on the right. Well, it's going to be a door, but
The deck is on the east side of the building.
on the east side of the building. And there's well, you see the two doors.
Yep.
There's a window, well, there are actually windows, one, then there's another window, there's a bunch of windows in there boarded up. So I'm gonna use the same openings. And I'll start with the one door on the right, and that goes into that little office area, next to the, I don't know if you've been in there recently, but there's a small room.
This will be out the north end of the bar.
It'll be off the
Yes.
east end, yeah, but this is on the east, yeah, north end of the bar, right, yeah, so you have access to the deck. The access to the outside is only for emergency exit or handicap access. Right there in front,
What
right
we see
there,
the X there?
yeah, the little
Okay.
gate. And the other door will be for servicing the deck. And
What's the width of that deck?
that's 14 by 36, and it may not be to scale.
Okay, now, what's that impacts that have on your parking?
I've already moved the parking around. The drive, so basically it's taken the place of the drive that used to be down there, and I used to drive and park here, but I filled and made, have you been over?
No,
Okay, someone's been over.
I have quite a bit.
Yeah, so if you look at right there, so I've got this displayed that. So that is there now, the parking, and there's room for the deck, and it still leaves 19 feet on the shorts, on the upper or the back side, at least 9 feet, it's at least 19 feet.
you
right
haven't
there.
lost any parking.
No, I actually,
I think you're gonna gain some.
yeah. And they're parking deeper, but,
Is there any room underneath this deck to park, or is it not that
no,
much space?
I wouldn't do that. I don't think. You're gonna be serving food out there. We don't need.
Is that gonna have a canvas or some kind of cover
awning.
over? On
I haven't applied for that right now. We talked about it, and I think we'll just have to mention that we could, if it was, of course, we'd have to have that in now or ask
it?
for.
Or do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I think it's gonna be open, and she just wants maybe an umbrella on the tables. Over there.
The deck just made of pressure treated material?
Yes, and concrete piers, and the railing will probably, fooling with the railing, we talked about the cables, but then we were on a trip and I saw the EMT, the galvanized conduit, that makes a nice rail, actually. So I was looking at that. But my thought originally, I like the wrought iron, but Kristen didn't care for that. Like a cemetery.
You're gonna have to get the executive committee together to determine this.
Yeah, right. And and there's 10 piers, so I'm gonna have, so I'll carry it.
Will
Easily.
this be painted, stained?
It can be whatever, but pressure treated, you gotta let it sit anyways.
So for right now, it's pressure treated, standing as is for at least a year.
Yeah,
Right,
and the railings may be not, they probably won't be, the posts probably won't be pressure treated. I had a couple of thoughts. I was thinking of just a 4x4 steel, hollow steel, nice rounded 1 point, and then just open to thoughts here on that. But I guess it's what you whatever you guys approve.
And the other part is here too, Pat, where you're covering the utilities on the end of that. So on the
Yeah.
north end of the porch right here in this box, currently, if you look at the, gotta rotate, God,
There's meters there.
Is it really boxed in?
Well, open, but you can access them, and you can see them.
you can sort of see them here. where
Yeah,
this
and
is
I'll
where the
hide
box is
that.
for the middle.
I thought I had a deal going with Green Mountain Power, but they decided to hold off or whatever.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
if you set me as a co-host, I have some photos I took today. I was looking at it. If we want to see those in terms of the side of the building, a better picture. Okay.
I mean, stop my share, or you're good?
Let me set up. You can keep going, and then I'll export a couple, and then I'll just share them.
You're changing the front porch at all?
No, not with this at all. We're not even accessing to there. The slabs will probably go away and be sloped up, and I'll have, I don't know if I'll do some stone there or something, pavers or something there, but it's
But it's only for emergency exit.
yeah, and
Because access to the deck is from the inside.
and from the inside. Yeah. I think it'd be too difficult to manage it, so it's better this way.
Anybody have any
Liquor-
questions?
Department of Liquor also appreciate that it's only emergency exit.
Yeah, and we'll probably have to, I assume we'll put some sort of alarm on it,
And do you have a particular light fixture in mind for the?
Oh, I like something kind of colonial looking or something, that,
Are those light fixtures and top those poles?
yeah.
Now, what's our requirement on lights? Are we gotta be shielded down?
Yeah.
Shiny or, yeah,
You don't
yeah,
see the
yeah,
source
no,
of
that's good.
You can see the all, but it's so it doesn't broadcast upward and outward,
Right,
so that
and nothing fluorescent. In my opinion, something soft,
Sure,
something
I
soft,
agree with that, yeah.
yeah. I like the lights you guys had in town, I don't care for them now, it's kind of loud, I think.
Remember, you're new in town here.
Yeah, no, be careful.
Here, let me share that photo, Chris.
it's all yours.
Okay. There we go. So that was taken.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
I did go to school here.
So I have a couple questions. I was looking at your line in terms of what your height's going to be. It looks like you're going to have to do something to hide your utilities, but you're also hitting a couple oil filling areas and potentially a propane line. Is that correct? In the middle of the building there?
There's a propane line there,
Okay.
and there's a fuel line there,
Is,
or fuel
are they
access.
beyond the end of your deck?
What's that?
Are those filler pipes beyond the end of your deck?
No, but they're I'll have to relocate it. That tank was just put there as I took ownership. It used to be, the lines actually were probably similar in location. The tank was further in. But I'll just run them lines out.
You're gonna adjust them.
Yeah.
So not to interfere or be on your deck.
Yeah,
So
the
you
only thing you have to deal with is covering these current utility boxes, correct?
yeah.
And then a question about the windows in your drawing. It looks like, can you see my pointer? I can't tell.
Yeah,
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
So this window is in line with this, which I guess is your second door there.
Yes.
But these two don't line up with this, and in your drawing, it shows your next door. I don't know, are you using either one of these, or are you going to do a whole new door that would be in line with the upper window?
Well, if you look, we have that picture.
I have to switch back over.
No, it's fine.
I've got a copy right here, Pat, if you
I
need.
do too.
Okay.
Well, the door is gonna be where the window is. Just,
It's replacing the one with the wood, with the.
Okay.
with the beige wood over it, so it'll line up with this upper
and,
window-ish.
Yeah, that's what I think. It might, we try to get things as aesthetic as possible, but given that this is already an established window that's been there for a long time, I don't have an
Not
issue
really.
with the door
This one
being
is.
here. I was just curious because in the sketch they are aligned, but in reality they're not. So I just wanted to be sure. But I'm okay with this door because it makes a lot of sense instead of creating another opening, which then you have to deal with these. So I'm totally fine with putting it there and having it not
Right.
line up just because it's been there and it's established.
and those three little windows above there will eventually, I don't like them. Ivan had put those in, they were too small, and thankfully someone stopped him before he did too many small windows.
So you have a plan down the road? to
Yeah,
do
I
some of
don't,
those.
yeah, that apartment needs to be redone and,
So you'll be back for those too.
Oh, yes.
yeah. Yeah, so, I don't like those windows at all, them small ones, too small for the building.
Would you understand what I was,
Pat.
No,
Oh,
Ian
Ian's.
Yeah.
Ian was saying?
I do understand, yeah,
And if you look at the drawing, I mean, they are offset slightly.
offset slightly, yeah.
And I know you're gonna say that's not the scale. Okay, got it.
Not
Um,
just-
In terms of the lighting, you talked about the Main Street lights and that you liked those, but then you don't like those now?
Now, listen. Okay, so he was, all right, no.
Well, the reason I ask is because the town has the old lights that were on Main Street, which are essentially exactly the same design. They're literally sitting over by the Department of Public Works. A lot of them were retrofitted with just screw bulbs, so you could put any type of bulb in. And if you were looking for lights and you wanted to match Main Street, potentially the town might just give you 3 lights and you could retrofit them. I mean, they're just metal casings. You could cut them down to the height you want and they would have the same type of fixtures if you wanted to go that direction. I'm sure the town would be happy, and the fact that they're screw, you can put in any kind of bulb, and so it doesn't have to be. I actually have a couple of the bulbs because I wanted to look at them. They're just normal LEDs, but they're super bright LEDs. You could put in any kind of bulb. So we can, on the town side, we can talk about that because they've been sitting out there for 2 years now, and I'm sure that we'd love to be able to give you those to be able to help you with this project if you wanted them.
I'd be interested in those.
Okay. Yeah, because the ones that are in now, the new lights are different. I think they have a higher kind of intensity bulb. They haven't been retrofitted because they're new fixtures, but
Right.
they are technically the same as the old ones that are sitting there. So, I think you could go through and have your pick of the 14 lights that are sitting there, pick a good 3 that might work, and then you have your lights, which might be kind of nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
He's also on sled work.
Um,
Anybody else got any questions?
May I? Only thing I got a little confused about was actually what he was talking about for the fencing, a galvanized conduit, maybe, or you don't know?
Basically for the rail. I mean, there's posts and there's a lot of there's some cable systems. But I was looking at that and we were out west in a coffee shop and they used, I think it's the EMT, the light thin wall conduit, and they did railings. They had like 5 on the posts or something like that, and it looked real nice.
With the cable through them?
No, just the
Just a
conduit.
conduit.
Yeah, between their posts, and these will be Yeah, I had different thoughts. If I do that, there might be added posts in between, you know. So if it's 9 feet, so it might be, 4.5. That doesn't, that, and
Yeah, I think if you go with the cable rail, they usually say, 3.5.
Right.
Pushing it, so.
So
Yeah.
Pat, it was like this one here that's showing right here. Whoops, I just clicked. Damn. Something like this is what you were talking about.
that's a conduit, yeah, something like that. And I was interested in something like that.
Just, can you guys see
And that was just
the
a thought.
background?
No, just the drawing.
Switch shares, just so you can see what we're talking about. So this upper picture right here is what he's talking about. Instead of doing the cable, which is sort of the new thing that everyone is doing, but instead using a conduit, so it gives it a little beefier feel.
Okay. Would you leave it as the conduit color, or would you paint it?
It's galvanized, I would leave it galvanized.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And you describe the posts again. You said they wouldn't be the pressure treated. They were going to be some other material.
No, no problem. Well, I'm not sure. I got a price. I was thinking of using just a steel square post as a possibility, or else I'll use a fir, but I'm not sure. I was thinking steel, but I think the price has gotten a little out of hand on that.
Okay. I have a couple more questions, but Chris, did you see that? I just forwarded you Ben's comments.
Not yet.
It was a forwarded email. He didn't CC everyone, and I just realized that just before the meeting. So if you check your email, you should see he had a couple questions. One of them's been answered in terms of lighting, but he had a couple more that were specific that we haven't talked about yet.
Deck is designed by a structural engineer. That's up to Pat. So his first question is whether it requires a structural engineer. That's really between the contractor and the state of Vermont. Being a commercial building, Division of Fire and Safety will deal with whether it's designed correctly. And Pat, being a contractor, he's done this a few times.
I'll be heavy enough.
And I think number 2, the light question is answered. And then 8x3 setback on the sidewalk. The question was, what would the sidewalk be constructed of? You thought possibly pavers?
It might be pavers. I'm not sure if I was I'd like to find some stone. I have some stone, but I think for access, it could be a poured concrete. I guess it's sort of, regular poured sidewalk possibly. Just depends. It'd probably be better for the wheelchair, having handicap accessible rather.
Which will be the other bonus by doing this. He actually will bring this, the bar portion of that building up to ADA compliance. Currently, it's not ADA because it's not required to be.
Right.
So that's sort of
this deck,
But it will be
yeah.
at that point.
right? This will trigger this.
Anyways, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been through them.
So I guess my main thing, I'm in full support of the deck. I think this is a great idea and a great project, and I think it will greatly benefit the business as well. My main concern is that we don't have, for me, there aren't enough specifics of how it's going to look. Generally, for the Design Review Commission, we're evaluating and approving or recommending on specifics. And because you haven't locked in the exact materials that you're using and the exact look, it's hard for me to imagine the deck as a final thing. And I have concerns that something that I imagine or another person might imagine is going to be different, and then when we see the final thing, perhaps it's different than we all thought it would be. So that's my main concern. I'm more than happy to support it, but at the moment I'm hesitant to, just because we don't know the specifics of what the lighting might look like, the galvanized and the metal. You talk like and I'm, and I don't mean to be rude, but it's just I need to have more detail about, like, here's what I'm going to use, this is what it's going to look like, and I'm definitely going to use this, as opposed to I'm thinking about using this, or I might use
No,
it.
I can pick that right now.
Okay. I mean, and we often guide people as well, because people, they all come in the same kind of way, in terms of, like, wondering what materials can be used and sort of hesitant to commit just because what are our stipulations, or what would our recommendations be. And I don't know, Ron, is that something that we should help Pat with now, in terms of him making a decision? Like, I don't think we don't meet very often, so it's sort of, we have to sort of refresh our minds. But Ron, what would your guidance be in terms of helping Pat here with some of those specifics?
You make a valid point. We do approve project as presented, and there's enough unknowns, because you didn't know, well, it might be a wooden post versus. What I hate to put you on the spot and say, this is what I'm doing tonight. What you might want to do is consider just what Ian was saying, and come back to us, unless you plan on pouring concrete tomorrow. But come back to us with those unknowns fine-tuned, because you're not even sure if you're going to use the lights that he has offered.
Wow. Chances are it would.
But
right.
What you might want to do, I think, instead of making a commitment here in public, is take a look at what you want to do, what you're trying to accomplish with your deck, and then come back with all the materials that it's going to be. We know it's going to be a pressure treated deck, but there's some unknowns of the railing material coming up, the lights. I think the entranceway that's been fine tuned, but can you commit right now? Do you want to commit right now, or would you rather come back to us?
Well, I don't now so you're not going to approve it without knowing exactly, and how long would it take from now to, if I came back, I came back tomorrow, and just
We could pull a meeting together in a couple weeks, maybe.
Yeah, about 2 weeks. So the other option he has is to make a commitment now to, it's going to be conduit style railing, and using the town light, a matching style to the town light, and wood or metal posts. Those are the three biggies.
Yeah.
If he deviates from that, or wants to change that, then come in for an amendment. That would be
That sounds
my
good.
recommendation.
I'm
Does that make
definitely,
sense?
yeah, and Kristen.
I'm asking Ron.
Kristen checked, she liked the conduit also, we saw it down there. And the wooden post is probably most likely, and it'll probably be a fir that's exposed. The stuff below will be a pressure treated, and the deck will be pressure treated, unless, yeah. And if you look at the deck will be running toward the building. And I think, did I show details of the framing on that?
Roughly.
Yeah.
That's no word on that one.
It didn't do the whole thing, but
So does that make sense, Ian? If he wants to go that route and commit to those options to you, and if they deviate from that, then he would.
yeah,
come
no,
back
I'd
for an amendment?
really be interested in the town lights, or if they weren't available, it would be something very similar to that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. We do have our criteria in the town or the zoning regulations that we need to go through. And Ron, you've often gone through sort of line by line, and I think it might be useful because it does hit a number of these different things. I guess the one issue, like picturing the metal, I need a color of the metal posts, and then the galvanized. For me, your front railings are painted black. They're metal. They're galvanized, or not galvanized, but they're metal pipes, kind of like conduit, but probably thicker. They're painted black, and then we've got the contrast of that's already established with a galvanized silver look for the rest of the deck, which doesn't match the rest of the building. And oftentimes we're trying to sort of match architectural features, so there is sort of a uniformity to the building. Not that you can't stray from those things, but I think we
No.
need to sort of look at the building design part and going through sort of one by one, just to make sure we hit everything.
So the galvanized pipe is not something you're really interested in? Is that what you're thinking, or?
He's saying it's non-contrast.
I know.
With your vertical post you have on the front porch. That's what you're saying, right, Ian?
Yes, it's not that I'm not interested in it. It's not my decision. It's your decision on it, and it's our purview to sort of review and give our recommendations. We just kind of look at sort of
You don't like the black
uniformity.
post in the front, neither do I.
Right. So if you wanted to sort of get a cohesive look, maybe it's something where you would use a black post and with the galvanized, or if it's just a silver post, and maybe that translates and changes something in the front. But
It wouldn't be silver. And the post could be black. And I wasn't, I hadn't really picked any color on that, whether it's stained or it could be painted black. Originally, I actually wanted
Keep it
wrought
natural.
iron,
Oh, yeah.
but Kristen did not. I'm good with it.
So if black posts are on your front porch
I can do black on these.
in there,
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
then the other issue is what would you want to your cable or what was
The galvanized rails.
Yeah. So the big question is, you aren't a big fan of the black in front currently, correct? So you just said it's there.
I think it would, because it's not black above it. So it'd be the same color. And ideally, these are just pressure treated posts. And they're not, the ones above it are detailed with the bevel. So I want to change them at some point. Anyway.
To almost match the deck.
Or to match the building itself here, and so it could be any color. And if these are changed, say for instance, down the road, this is changed colors and those are changed the same color, it'd be fine, right? As long as you're like,
right.
yeah, even change the color.
You're changing something on the exterior so that we have to look at it.
Yeah, even paint
It's an
colors,
inconvenience, but it's
even paint colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that a lot? Is that
I think actually paint color is excluded. I mean, unless we're dealing with this one, like if you want to change the color of your building, you can change the color of your building, you can paint it whatever you want. But when we're getting into the material types, if you specify that it needs to be black, if you want a deviation from that, then they
Okay.
have to come to you. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Change the building color. Somewhere.
I don't know why.
Or at least add something to it. To trim,
So the trim stuff you would need to come in, and when we have that laid out.
yeah, because put the trim on the Wells building, detail.
changed his upright vertical post on the deck to black.
Okay.
And what are you going to do for your cross pieces?
The
The
horizontal.
cross pieces, those are now, they're galvanized conduit. Now, is that,
That's a contrast, Ian. Do you have any galvanized color on the front of this building?
no, there's black iron. Those, I guess those could be black iron too, if it made the difference.
yeah, it's like a combination. You've got your vertical posts, corner posts are painted black along with your gutter, and then your building itself, the front of it is white, or it's like an off-white color. I mean, your seating area is black. It's black wrought iron kind of seating, and you've got the stone there, which is like another kind of gray color. It's kind of mixed. I mean, it's tough because we're trying to. I'd love to see more cohesion with the building, but it's difficult because you're doing it the different pieces, and I hate to like have you go one direction and then you come back to us and say we want to do this, and then it runs into sort of frustrations with that.
I wouldn't change this. the deck itself from what we agree upon.
Right.
Do this either, this so it could match the trim or the trim detail, which
Could be a while.
of the building and all that. This needs to be recited anyways. on the building. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm all for like improving this building. Like, it's great, and you're doing a great job so far. And I know you're a new owner of the building, so I'm in full support. It's just that for me, I need to have like decisions being made. I think before you come to us, it's like we can help you as much as possible, but I think I'm still hesitant to sort of agree on things, knowing that you could potentially look at the price of conduit and say like, oh my gosh, it's really expensive. I think I'd like to go another direction, and then you need to come back to us anyway. I think it'd be better to sort of as Ron suggested earlier, sort of go through these specifics and answer the questions that we've asked you tonight, and sort of make those decisions with Kristen, and come back to us and say, okay, here's what we got. This is what we're locked into. We're committed to these, and then you probably would have approval very easily. I think right now I'm still hesitant because there are so many unknowns in your situation, that I'd be hesitant to support it, even in terms of officially, even though I support the project overall.
I think we all support it, and I think he's making a valid point there, and
Just to give the particulars.
we're putting you on the spot right here,
Yeah.
and maybe you need to have a conversation with Kristen before you commit to some of this other stuff. You've heard the comments, and
Yeah.
Liz has got
Liz has got
some.
some
I
too.
was just gonna add, Ian, to your comment that, just looking at the rail design, for example, depending on which system you go with, it'll look quite different, right? If this is a 36-foot long stretch and you go with the conduit, you might have 8 or 9 bays, rather than 4.
Yeah, well,
And even more if you go with the cable. And then the other part that is not totally clear here is where your height is. If there's a drop off, it's going to end up being 42 inches to the top, but not 36, et cetera. So it'd just be good to get a little bit better idea.
yeah,
of how
the
this
detail. Yeah, so you want the height detail. It has to be, because it's a drop off, it has to meet that.
That 42
height,
inch,
right,
yeah.
which I already know that.
Okay.
I just didn't put that in. And there is a drop off as you go down through.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd just be good to just get a little bit, even if you said, okay, I'm gonna do this kind of rail and I know I'm gonna space it this much, that would help us to visually
Yeah,
understand.
well, this is not in the detail here, but with that cable or with that conduit, I think it definitely has to have the added support between each one of them, and that's not in the picture.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do you think you want to do?
What
Go home and have a talk with Kristen and come back?
I'd like to pick it, but but
And I'm here Friday, Monday, and
but yeah. So I'll
come in
just
and I'll get you as soon as you get in. Then I'll send out a couple
Sure.
days to these guys. I'm gonna get you an ASAP.
sure.
We're not talking putting you out for 2 months.
Yeah.
We'll get this resolved.
All right, so I'll just, so we just need, so you want the detail of the railing mainly, the lights. So,
Now, take this time to go to the Public Works area and
Yeah.
look at the lights that are over there.
yeah, just see, Eric over there.
Give them a call, yeah.
And, if like Chris was just pulling up some images online, if you have an image of a rail system that you like and detail that you like.
It was very similar to what he was
share
just
it with
showing.
us. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be super handy.
So yeah, so if you want to come back, once you have your drawings done, I can sit down, we can
I'm more
detail for
just sketch.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. I'm glad to help you with that part. That's why I'm offering it up.
With what he brought up as a picture, you capture that picture and put in your packet.
Yeah.
That's what you're,
Yeah.
okay. It's not anything you've sketched out. Now we know exactly how
Yeah.
you want the finished product to look
Yeah.
like.
And we can search for more of them to get exactly what the feel you're looking for.
Yeah.
So, like I said, come into the office.
Sure.
Either Friday or Monday, and
Yeah.
you and I can knock that out in a hurry.
All right.
And,
So you're-
and Pat, Pat, I'm happy to meet if you want to connect. I'm happy to meet at the location and also show you the lights as well. If you want to look through those, just on the since I'm on the select board side, I can sort of we can go look at those and see what the condition. They've been under kind of tarp, so they should be okay. But let's take a look at those, and then that'll give you a decision. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to go with these, or no, I don't like the look. I'm going to try something else.
No, yeah, I've seen the lights. I was actually seen them quite a bit.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you. I think your number's on the application. Let me give you a call, and we can connect at some point this week, and then just take a look at those.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pat.
right.
One more thing.
Yeah, yes, Lynn.
Is that we kind of let those steps slide. He was going from maybe concrete to maybe.
You want a definite
Oh.
on the steps.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
need that clarified, yeah.
Well, for probably the carport would be,
Well, I guess they're not steps, right?
no, they're
It's a ramp.
actually just
Ramp.
it's just a ramp.
The
Yeah.
building is not ADA compliant.
So
This is
so-
a chance to bring it up.
yeah, so that'll be just,
Yeah.
And again, we can.
and as far as wheelchair, the sidewalk, a port sidewalk will be better.
Yeah, sure.
Or ramp, wooden ramp.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. And the other piece, so the other half, he did have the last drawing on here was also a discussion on adding 2 doors to the rear of the building.
Yeah.
If you look at the very last drawing, the upstairs 3rd story, right?
3rd story. Yeah. So it gives those so that gives those 2 back apartments
Pull that up.
access to the back deck instead of, so it actually gives another exit other than the building, into the hall. Not that it's a whole lot of difference.
Do these 2 doors replace windows or you're?
One's gonna be a new opening, and the other one's gonna replace a window. The one over the bar or side will replace the window.
What are these doors gonna look like?
They're the 15 light doors,
Are the finish on the doors gonna be similar to other doors in your building, on the exterior?
Well, it's a little bit of everything on the building, I think. But there's a steel door on the back of the hatch block, and the other. I'm trying to think of the other doors. Are probably 6-panel, but most of them are metal doors. This is going to be a metal door with the glass, so it's going to be glass center and having lights.
And again, when we meet, we can look
And
for some
that's-
samples for these guys on this as well.
Yeah. So I actually have one of the doors already. I'm just
Oh, perfect. Took a
picture of it, and I think that's, and I was uncertain on the door, but I think that's probably the same type of door I'll do on the bar.
I don't think we have any problem with putting doors in because it's another escape in case you have a fire in there.
Right,
But it's a matter of what's it gonna look like.
right,
Exterior.
yeah.
So Pat, at the moment, that 3rd floor, the apartment, they would go to a door in the hallway, and the hallway is the single exit onto the deck. And these 2 are just proposing doorways from each apartment.
Onto the back deck.
Yeah,
On the
and
other side.
one is a window and one is new. Okay, good. I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, again, another looking at the style of door. My recommendation is if you can get each of those doors to match, that would be nice, as opposed to just doing it sort of.
No, they'll match.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, I like as much the old look as possible. Yeah.
All right then.
And then, so on the 2nd floor, are there doors already installed that
There.
do the same thing that the 3rd floor? What you want to do on the 3rd floor?
They are, but they're different. They're
Okay.
different doors.
Okay. Are you going to do your locations the same? So if you looked at it, it would be
I know what
symmetrical.
you're saying. If it's symmetrical, on the 3rd floor, there's an existing window, so I'm going to use that.
Okay.
On the apartment over the bar. The other one, the way I even did it, is a step in the living room, and the porch ends right there, and there's a window there, which I'd like to get rid of that at some point, but I'll have to talk to you about that. I want to put a window that's further out, that's over the windows below, so it looks better.
Okay.
But then now it's got the crank open, what are they, awning window type, or them crank open ones. Yeah. It's not a double hung. But the door is gonna be, so it enters on the deck and there's nothing there now. The window that's just off from it, I'd like, eventually will go away and I'll put a double hung further out, a larger window. But those two doors will not match the ones below.
Yeah.
At some point, I'll change those out so they match, so.
Right. So it's one of those catch-22s for the landowner and the building owner, is having enough capital to do it all in one shot versus coming up with a concept. And this is phase one, and we're waiting to see phases 2 and 3, which is what we're all waiting for. I mean, in all honesty, I'm excited to see upgrades to this building. This is a building that's needed some TLC for a while, and the fact that Pat's stepping up is personally is awesome.
Yep, I agree.
Actually, there shows it right there. So that's that replaces the window, the one on this side,
This one right here.
and that's the new opening. And that door, that existing is, I want to put a double hung further out that's over the window below it.
Okay, start back up to the other windows.
Yeah, look better.
Cool. Okay, so on the doors, just get a sample shot of that one so we have that, so they can see what it is, and you can go from there.
Sure.
I gotta apologize for a shortcoming. I know I rarely make mistakes, but that's my wife. Anyhow, I'm Ron LaRose.
I know.
Sure. Okay, this is Liz Herman.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
He's just a guest. And here you've got Ian, who has been chatting.
Yeah.
And one you don't see is Slim Pickens.
So-
I got the sound to work. That was good.
Yes.
Well done, Slim.
Cool. All right then. So your next step is
Getting together with some
meeting with Kristen. Then getting together.
Right.
And Chris, I would recommend, if you can, print out the section, if Pat doesn't already have it, just from the zoning regs of the design review area, and then he can see the criteria that we're going to be looking at, and that might help him. Unless you might have already given it to him.
I haven't yet, but I actually have a checklist that I can get that to him.
Okay. Because it's always useful. I mean, it's what we follow and what we're going to be looking at. So as long as you're going down and saying, okay, scale, I've got that, I've got this, then you should be set coming in. We'll just knock through it.
Okay.
Cool. I'll get that for you.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Pat.
Yep.
Thank you, Pat.
Thanks.
And Pat, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Well, actually, I'll see you in a couple days.
Yeah, and I'll see him in a couple days.
Yeah, I'll give you a call this week.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Right.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay, the next one is 22-019. St. Ambrose is closing existing doors, removing existing sidewalk, and putting in a new access, going from the east face to the north face, and a new sidewalk to access it.
Correct.
How's that quick summary? Now you take it from there.
You got it.
Marcel Kimball.
Marcel's probably the best starting picture, don't you think? For
It is. That's actually the one I'm looking at here in front of me out of my files. What this all stems from is a safety issue. In the corner where the handicap sign is where two roofs come together, and in the wintertime, the snow slides off the roof onto the sidewalk. And as hard as I try to keep that sidewalk clear of snow and ice, it's a never-ending process in the winter. This is a project that we at the church, our Buildings and Grounds Committee, have been talking about and trying to figure out the best way to deal with it for several years. In the design that we have submitted with the application is what we have come up with. What our plan is is to leave the existing door, but we're going to remove the outside door handle so that it's only an emergency exit.
From the doors stay there.
The door is gonna stay there.
Okay.
The biggest reason is cost. To do the masonry work, the brickwork and whatnot. But the sidewalk leading up to it will be removed. And there will be fresh sod, grass put in there. That handrail will be removed. Likely, we're gonna try to use the existing handrail, but move it over to the new sidewalk, which is where between the two sets of green flags going up through there. But if we have to get a new railing, it will be the same design. It'll look the same. The only reason we may need a new one is rust at the bottom where it goes into the cement sidewalk. If we can save it, or if our contractor can save it, we are going to do that. If not, we'll get a new one, but it will look the same as what you're seeing in that picture. The bottle redemption box, our plan is just to slide that to the west so that where the new door will be, it won't interfere with that. Yes, it'll be slid further towards that window.
It's almost on the other side of the window.
Right, exactly. Yep. Yep. And the new door that we're proposing is gonna go between that window and the corner of the building. It'd be in between there.
Now, the roof line there, is that sloping to the north?
Hey, Chris, do you have a double screen? Because I can't see. I shared a picture, but I don't think you're sharing what you guys are looking at.
Oh, no, crap. I didn't hit share. My bad. I'm sorry, Ian.
I mean, I know it, but I just want to make sure.
Thank you for mentioning it. This is the picture we're looking at right now.
Okay, good. All right. I was looking at another picture too, which I have. Okay. So yeah, you'll slide that past the window.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that'll end up over here on this
Okay.
side.
To answer Ron's question, that roof slides towards the existing sidewalk.
East.
Slide east-west. And so with the new door, we're proposing, depending on your guys' approval or disapproval, put a roof structure over the new door that will extend 6 feet out, straight out, at an angle so the snow would slide off.
Okay.
But it'll extend out 6 feet from the building and be 6 feet wide to cover the door.
Yep. That's it.
And so you're planning on replacing the essentially the egress from this door with this new door. So the width is going to be the same, and you're not going to maintain the walk in the wintertime out of that what the main door is right now. You're diverting
Yes, that door there, the door that you're seeing in this picture will not be maintained in the wintertime. The existing sidewalk will be removed, and we'll put some new sod in and grass it in, so it'll be a lawn area. But in the wintertime, that will not be maintained.
But you could still use it for egress.
You could use it for an emergency egress as the door opens out. And like I said, the reason we're gonna leave that door, the biggest reason was cost. To get a mason in to match the brickwork of the existing building. Our thought was just to eliminate that cost, leave the existing door, and just remove the exterior door handle.
Slim, Ian, questions, comments?
I think it's a great project. I guess I have a concern about the roof design since we don't have a drawing of that. It seems to me that you're not going to be matching the pitch of the roof that's there, mimicking like a smaller version of that over the door, and you're going to be coming sort of just angling straight out and angling down, which I feel I don't know how that's going to match and look with the rest of the building, but I don't, you know, if you match the pitch with the two angles coming out over the door, you create the same problem that snow could just drop off that right onto where you're walking in anyway, kind of like it does now. But it seems like that would be the cleanest look and the best look to be able to match the building itself instead of doing the opposite design. So I have a concern about that, and since we don't have any drawings, I'd want to see a drawing of that to see what that would look like, and whether you were going to use standing seam, whether you were going to use the same kind of design elements
We're gonna
around
use-
the edge of the roof.
The roofing material is gonna be standing seam to match the existing roof on the building.
Okay.
Yeah, so I see your concern, and you wanted this roof area right here to possibly be a peak, but then when it dumps snow load onto the sidewalk,
We're just moving the problem.
just moving the problem 10 feet to the north.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to alleviate is a safety concern.
There's one picture that he has in the packet that shows above that proposed new doorway, it's a straight face going up. Or how far, I'm not sure, but it goes a straight face going up to the ridge, which runs north and south in this area, the roof ridge line. And you almost like you really don't even need the overhang on the.
Is this the picture? Ron?
No,
No, I think that's the other one.
there's another one that's,
This one.
no,
That's
That
the
is
one
it.
you got- Yep,
but you see the vertical wall above that Bottle Redemption building.
right.
So that's telling me the ridge line, the main ridge line of the roof goes north and south. And you've got overhang on the roof beyond the wall of the building. And do you need a roof there?
Our concern, our thought with the roof there was more or less for if it's raining, when somebody's coming in or out, they would have a chance to stop there and fold up their umbrella before they went in, or when they come out to stop and open their umbrella.
Maybe it'd be difficult to match, well, no, I guess you could match your ridge line and the standing seam by, if it's running north and south coming out of there. But again, if you do that, you're gonna dump it down in the.
In the exact same spot, yeah.
Or,
But
You leave
that's
it
a much
flat
smaller
surface.
problem.
and out.
What's that, John?
I was just saying it, but it would be a much smaller problem. You'd have a relatively small roof as opposed to the valley of two much larger roofs funneling all that snow down onto the existing sidewalk. Whereas, what is it, a 6 foot by maybe 3 foot grand total of roof that would be shedding some snow. So it would be a problem, I guess, but the shoveling would be easy. And I do think you want something for the rain. I mean, of course. Anyway, yep.
You could also put some snow guards on there, just to keep people from getting dumped on.
I mean, we could certainly, we're certainly open to putting a gable roof up there versus one that comes out, straight out or whatever.
So like a shed.
Well, Slim made a valid point there. You're not dumping the main roof in this area as you were with existing entranceway.
That is true.
And
correct.
it's minimal impact
Yeah.
on the pedestrian traffic there.
And there are ice protectors that can be applied to the standing seam roof that will keep any major slides from ever happening, I believe.
Other comments?
If that's the only issue that your committee has, that's an easy enough fix.
Well, you already have in your plans to put a roof over anyways.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you're open to the gable, I think that seems like a better design that would fit with the building and not clash against what's already there and the rest of the building. We'd want to. I think I'd want to see in terms of if it's just a gabled peak, if you're constructing anything in terms of a full triangle look of it, or if it's just the roof itself and it's open, and what your supports might be in there, and then what your edging might look like. It's like, because this commission sort of works on specifics. It's hard for me to picture, and I'm a I've built stuff, and my dad's a designer, and so I have the ability to do that. But even now, it's sort of hard for me to sort of picture it. And I wouldn't want to picture something and have it be something completely different, and thinking that I've approved this or been one of someone group who've approved this.
And we move forward to improve, as long as they provide another drawing to give us more detail on this roof. So we can keep this project moving. But do you have a timetable?
I guess that would be a question for Chris.
Timetable?
I've got a contractor lined up to start in 3 weeks.
3 weeks? You ought to be able to, in 3 weeks, get us a sketch. And what we can do, you work with Chris, you get it, if he gets to him, then he can send it around to us. If we're all content with it, we can rubber stamp it then. Now, if everybody else is okay with everything else, we can approve that contingent on receiving a sketch of the roof. That work for you guys?
I would just have the support too, the support and the roof.
How are you gonna
materials.
support
There's, as far as I know, from talking with our contractor, he's gonna support it off the building itself. There's not gonna be any posts out away from the building. It's gonna be
it?
supported.
Show that in your sketch when you bring that back, Chris.
I mean, I assume your contractor's gonna have to draw that up anyway, so when he does that, if you get his, perfect.
Yep.
Is the walkway needed? The sidewalk is so close to the building. Do you need the
But
second
it's all
walk?
along there.
Yes.
It'd be muddy. So they're removing one sidewalk and building another sidewalk. This door.
Yeah, I'm just seeing though that there's a sidewalk that's on.
No, it's,
Yeah, this is all grass through here.
Yeah. Okay,
It looks like there's a sidewalk right here.
well, that's what I was thinking, because
That's-
I realized,
That's not a sidewalk.
Yeah.
That's a path out to the other shed.
In the wintertime, I keep a path snow blowed out through there because our fuel oil tank is out there, fuel oil fills out there, so I keep the path cleared for our fuel dealer
Yeah,
to, so they don't have to trudge through 3 feet of snow.
Ben had some other questions, Chris, looking at his email now. We've actually answered most of them. One that we haven't, he said, the estimate makes reference to backfill and seeding in the area of the demolished sidewalk. What type of seeding will be used?
It'll be grass. It's.
Okay. Just matching in with what's there.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. And in question 3, he had, are there any below grade utilities in the vicinity of the demolished sidewalk? I guess just a warning for you, and I'm sure you're going to check anyway before you start digging into the earth.
Right. I don't believe there is, but I'm sure that,
Dig safe will be.
yep.
safe.
Okay, great.
Can I have one comment here?
Yes.
Now, I see where your flags are for the sidewalk, but would it be possible to move the sidewalk outside the zone of the snow slipping off your proposed roof? If the sidewalk was where you have people walking to fill the fuel tank, then it would just be
I see what
normal
you're
snow
saying.
like any other place. And then they could
I-
turn left and go in underneath the portico.
I see what you're saying.
So move this sidewalk here and have it run, and then they would just walk in.
Move it out another,
that's a very good idea.
I mean, we're 6 feet, but we can move the sidewalk another, say 5.
Because you have plenty of land, you're not gonna run
Yeah.
into your
Yeah.
property
If
boundary.
there's no, and I don't know how wide you need that sidewalk, but you make it as wide as you need, but have it turn into the portico, yeah, which might be 5 feet or 4 feet or something, whatever you can live with.
Right. Absolutely.
That's a good idea. That gives you room too, if you need to put brackets underneath there to support it, you're not gonna bump into it as you
Yep.
approach it from that side.
Yeah, I mean that fuel filling is just grass now, but
Correct.
so you'd want to look at. I think Slim's suggestion is a really good one. It's probably going to add in terms of a little bit to your budget, or maybe not, because you're going to be doing some additional sidewalk or concrete area right at the door's entrance because you're shifting it. Because you're sort of creating an L. But it does, I think, that does make sense to me in terms of like you're getting away as far as you can, or as far as like you want to, away from that roof and the potential of anything falling off of it. And then, but obviously you'd have to have it so it seemed like it was a nice way to be able to go forward and then left through the door. So, and maybe it's only bumps out another like 2 or 3 feet from that north side wall to be able to clear the roof.
Yep, absolutely, we can do that.
But you still don't have to pour additional concrete, you're just moving the width.
You're gonna pour one more little piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where the landing is under.
Where
Yep.
where you enter.
So not a huge piece.
Yep.
by any means.
Yep, not by any means. No, we're certainly open to that, absolutely.
Do we want to approve what's been presented, conditioned on the receipt of a sketch of the roofing plan and support system?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, and we would just want to have as detailed as possible. So if your contractor, if they're able to work from photographs of the building and try to get it as accurate as possible in terms of the height of the roof and where it's going to attach and things like that, that would work for us better, I think.
Was that your motion?
That was my motion.
I'll second that.
Yeah, so I'll make the motion to approve the application for this addition of the sidewalk and change, but only on receipt of design for the roof.
To include.
Or
support.
to include, yeah, however you want to word that, Chairman.
Yeah, Chris has got it.
Or Chris has got it, yeah.
All right, the motion made second. Any further
Second.
discussion?
Second.
Okay.
Slim second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Sorry, just one more thing in terms of snow guards aren't in our purview, right? So it would be their decision to put snow guards on that new roof and not ours.
Correct.
Okay.
And by shifting it, it should eliminate even the need for them.
As I said, by shifting the sidewalk, yeah, we wouldn't, I wouldn't
Yeah.
see the need for it,
The
absolutely.
cost of the snow guards may actually cover your concrete.
Oh, I see. Right, because you're not even entering on the east side. You're actually going to enter straight forward. Oh, okay, right. That's and then that's nice because you're able to keep that gabled roof look matching the existing building. Okay. Thanks.
Any other comments?
None. Nothing from me. Thank you.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Oh,
So you and Chris need to chat.
Yeah, we'll get a hold of our contractor tomorrow and tell him what we need as far as drawings or whatever.
and if either him or you have questions on exactly what it is,
And
reach out.
scan it, send it around to us. We'll
Absolutely.
take a look.
Sounds good. Hopefully I can get it by the end of this week and I'll get in touch with you on Friday.
Sounds great. Perfect. And if not, I'm here Monday.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, folks.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everyone there.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Okay. Bye.